Yeah, she does. She snaps at a lot of people, and if anybody thinks that like I'm cool with that, I would encourage you to go rewatch the lives where I've been in the box. I need to find my charger. Okay, I found my charger. It is hard to watch, and she is, and I'm not gonna lie, she kind of reminds me of a lot of my family members. And I don't know if that's why I initially felt like drawn. I don't want to say that. I like who she is when she's sober. Who she is when she's sober is what drawn me to want to be friends with her. But at the same time, I think I don't know what to do sometimes, just like anybody else. I don't think being in her presence is enabling her. I think being her friend isn't enabling her. I do understand that when she's being mean to people, though, that are being nice, I think that would be enabling. That would probably be an example of that. Or, I try to tell her how life is without drinking. Like, I don't drink personally, not very often at least. And I try to be somebody where it's like she sees my day to day where I go about my life without drinking or using substances. And I think everybody does want to get her help.
I guess she's just going to have to hit a bottom, some sort of a bottom. I mean, the fall that she took was pretty bad.
It was. And what makes me nervous is because I tried to reach out to her before this live happened because I wanted to tell her that I needed or I felt a desire to defend myself because people were talking bad about me this morning. But I don't want it to be twisted that now I'm making this live to keep bringing up what happened last night and putting her on the spot.
Are you reading what Frenchie is saying?
I am, yes. I don't know how long you've been in this room or if you just kind of popped in right now. I do understand how bad what last night was. I didn't sleep the entire night at all. And honestly, I was kind of disappointed with myself to even let like some TikTok things let it affect my real life like that. Because, you try to be like, it's not that deep. It's just the internet. But last night it felt just so different. And a lot of shit happened. I don't know if Whitty ever does go back and watch her lives. I can't answer that. I'd love to know that myself, but I'd imagine that she probably does sometimes because she has admitted to me that she wakes up in the morning at times and she does regret the things that she says. Hi, Trinity.
Right, Mom of Three, I agree with you.
Did you mean to come up here, Trinity? Hello, Mama T.
Hello.
Did you mean to come up here? Okay, Trinity didn't mean to come up here. Did you mean to come up here, Mama T? Okay.
No?
Oh, she said no. Okay.
Okay.
I guess we're popular. Everybody, maybe it's the box style that we have. I think people
And I don't know how to
accidentally-
change it. It's not letting me. That video that you gave me, it's not doing it. It's not showing me the grid.
Frenchie, I respect that like you came in here on your main account and you said that to my face instead of just being in private, and which I don't know if you did in other lives talk about me or not, but I appreciate you coming just forward to me. And if anybody else has something they want to say to me, I really just want to clear it up. I really do. But
You want
I
to take
did.
a box, Frenchie?
You can if you want, but you don't have to. I'll answer your question regardless.
Yeah.
I did understand how bad it was last night. But the thing is like, I didn't know how to read the room in the beginning, just like anybody else. Of course, when you rewatch the live, you're literally watching me in real time, trying to figure out if this is okay or not, you know?
Yeah.
And I think everybody else was also in that room trying to figure out if it was okay or not. Now, me knowing the outcome of how that night went, I understand. Now, now knowing the outcome of how that night went, of course, I think there would be things that I would do differently now. You're valid for worrying about that man. And honestly, I did consider that as well. Like if something were to happen to this man because of something being called. And I don't know if you were in here when I was kind of saying my points, but I found 5 different times where I either discouraged a call from being made or I had tried to set the tone differently. Thank you, sexy mama. I tried to set the tone differently, like, and be like there was plenty of times where I was like, you know, even like the first in 17 minutes in when I first came in, I was just trying to make sure she's good, but she's probably fine if she's hung out with this guy before. Like I literally said that 17 minutes in.
Oh my
And
God,
then
thank you,
as
sexy mama. Sorry.
oh, you're fine. Thanks, sexy mama. This is your live too, Dana. So if you have anything you want to say, Dana's kind of being nice, letting me use her platform. So,
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry, friend.
oh, you're fine. Honestly, if you got something to say, interrupt me. But pretty much what I was just gonna say though is like, I found 5 different times where I literally, if you were to watch it back, that I said to myself, I'm like, this doesn't need to be crazy or dramatic. If you're okay, I was just making sure you're good. Or I literally said, I just want you to enjoy your night. People are telling me to drop, but if you want to call me or something, call me. Like I've said there was multiple times during this live where I tried to get the cue that she was good and let it be known that she's good.
Right.
It's okay, Frenchie. Yeah, and I mean, if you want to clock me on it, you can. Like, it's about 17 minutes in. I said I was just trying to make sure she's good, but she's probably fine if she's hung out with this guy before. Then 18 minutes in, I said I think she's okay. I don't think anyone should call to do a wellness check or anything like that. Because some people did say that I never said that I never encouraged a wellness check not to happen. 18 minutes in, I did do that, by the way. But of course, after the live went on, things kind of took a turn a bit, but I mean, of course, we don't know for sure if this man is safe. All I know is that nothing happened to Whitty last night, and I think a lot of wrong things did happen to this man. I don't really agree with his full name being given. I did rewatch that clip. He knew his name was being given, and it seemed like he was just kind of rolling with it, but that doesn't make it right. Thanks, Megs. Yes, please take a box. Millie, yeah, you can take a box. Yeah, he was, and that's just what kind of put a bad taste in some people's mouth. Yeah, come up. Anybody can come up. Hey, guys.
Hi.
Millie, do you want to go first since you asked first, or?
Sure. So, I was in there from what I believe was closest to the beginning of it. I don't know for sure. Um, but so the thing that was irritating to me is that so Whitty was silent. You guys are right. She was not speaking. She was making these strange faces. And so people were I guess, like trying to ask her, did she want the man to go or whatever. The thing that was bothering me is that at the very beginning, that man was minding his business. You know what I mean? He was on the phone with his sister. He was clearly drinking. She was clearly drinking. But he didn't know that she was on live or even recording him for that matter. And he was talking about cop stuff, like just whatever stuff that he was talking about with his sister. So like that to me was the first irritating part of it. And then she doxed him. And then it was the people that were, she was still not saying anything. And before, like, she even put the camera on his face, people in the comments already were jumping to a conclusion of him being scary, he needs to leave, Witty's scared, Witty's worried, all of these things. And it's like me coming from the position of I try to, I have two biracial kids. I live in the area where George Floyd, or well, not in the area, but in the surrounding area of where George Floyd was murdered. Okay, so I've tried to update and change my thinking about race relations, social justice, that kind of thing. And there's a thing called an implicit
Same
bias.
place.
So I felt like a lot of people, and it could have been something that they knew or something that they didn't know, were judging the man based upon what he looked like. And I said it, and I don't take it back. And that's just how I feel about it.
That's fair. And sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I should have picked a better time to say that. But I just meant, like, I think me and you might actually be from the same place because it happened in my city where George Floyd, that whole thing happened. So I do know what you're talking about. And I remember the impact of how that whole thing had on not only just my city, but our entire country. Um, I know from my standpoint, it wasn't a race thing. It was a man thing. If you knew me, I'm not a very easy woman for men to kind of talk to, approach. But I can't answer for all the other 100 people in that room. And I think it's fair that probably some of those people were just assuming that he could be predatory based off his race, possibly. I think that it could be a fair thing to assume. Frenchie, if you want to talk.
Hi. Sorry, guys. I'm dealing with just getting over laryngitis, so bear with me. I'm going to try and get through this. And I don't ever take a box, but I feel so convicted about what I saw happen last night. I just can't go without saying something. For me, it's not a race issue. It is to an extent that I have personally firsthand experienced. It happened to me just 2 weeks ago. I was driving in a car, my son was driving my car, and we were pulled over. The cop approached my side of the car, asked me if I was okay, and asked me what I was doing with him, my grown son. So it's here, it's everywhere. What bothered me the most and why I wanted to outreach to you, Lip Glossy, is I don't know you. I have such a heart for Witty. I don't know what it is. I just have always really taken to her and wanted to help her. When I saw that you all started to really start hanging around together, and then me joining that live yesterday, when I joined that live and what my thought process was and why I wanted to talk to you, Lip Glossy, is because I know you're a friend to her. You guys are together a lot in lives. I hear her talk about you. What was alarming for me is when I joined that live, what I saw was Witty being quiet. I saw the chat going absolutely nuts. Is she okay? Is she okay? And I heard this man talking. And if you can go back and look at the messages in the comments, I'm saying, is there somebody in the house? Is there somebody there with Witty? Because I could hear the voice and I could see Witty acting weird and the chat saying, are you okay? Is everything gone? And then here's her friend. And when I say her friend, it's just because I have seen your connection with her. And you're saying things like reiterating what's going on in the chat. And what was alarming initially for me before I ever even saw him was, I hope there's nobody in Witty's house. And this is what Witty does every time she drinks. Go back and watch some of her lives. She gets weird with her actions. She gets weird with what she wants to say. She acts like she's in trouble, so to speak. And what I couldn't understand is why you weren't doing anything to, this is who Witty is. This is what she does when she's drunk. I did hear you say things like, oh, he's been over before. But the chat was so wild with it. that I just didn't understand why these people who are moderators or friends are not saying, get offline. And I know you can't make her do anything, but you guys could have done a much better job at reiterating to that chat that I need the chat to stop. I will call Whitty offline. We have abilities to contact her. Stop it. But instead, it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So then I left your guys' live and I went to a completely different live and I wasn't in there 2 seconds. And here come the trolls. Whitty's in trouble. Whitty's in trouble. Whitty's in trouble. But my thought process, Whitty's sitting over there with her good friend who knows she has a drinking problem, who knows these are her natural behaviors. And then I started to think, I really started to doubt you, Lip Glossy, because it's like, where is this girl from? Like, this is her friend. She sees her do these behaviors every time. And now here is a man. And whether he was a black man or a white man, what I do know from living in the Midwest, as long as I've lived there, is if a woman picks up the telephone and calls and says anybody's hurting her, that's a man, regardless of their color, they're coming in hot. And then when they get there and they see that he's of a different color, then we got ourselves an even bigger battle. And I just felt like everybody was just letting it happen. And
I
then,
think
and then it's like, what if that's my son? What if that was my 28-year-old there having, what if his friends were all seeing this? And then the doxing started. I went back and the doxing was happening. And nobody was saying shit about that. It was like, everybody was like, okay, I'm just going to let him get doxed. First of all, let me tell you, that old ass man doesn't have one clue what was happening. He has no idea how many people were in that chat. He has no idea what Whitty's connections are online. And he has absolutely no idea how awful these slime bags are that sit over here on this side of TikTok. So to him, he had no clue how dangerous it was for him to be doxxed like that. Right?
right. No, you're absolutely right about that. You're absolutely right about that because when I rewatched the clip, at this point in time, we still didn't understand if Whitty wanted this man here or not. And I guess when she was saying his name and I was kind of looking to the chat to see what they were kind of feeling of the situation too, and it was almost like if she was in trouble, the people got this guy's name for that reason. Not that it's right. It's not right. But that's why in that moment, though, if I would have been like, oh, well, don't say his real name, but then if something bad happened, people would be like, well, Glossy tried to stop us from knowing his name when we could have, done this or that to help her, It's like I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't sometimes.
And you're right. And that's the shitty part about this internet, right? I mean, it's like these interpersonal relationships. We feel it, right? Because they're our friends and we want to help them. But yet it is really just this internet. What do we really do? And so I get it that you were, I think where I'm troubled with Glossy is that regardless of what the internet is going to say, I think what was more important that we heard was you are her friend and I have this handled. Because I think you knew in your heart of hearts, because I heard you say it, he's been over before. So and it's crappy, right? Because you're a friend but I just know how Whitty is with those few select people that she has close to her, that I feel like if you could have stepped in and get offline, Whitty, I'm calling you, or we got to stop doxing him, but what's really concerning is that this is who Whitty is. And that's what I didn't understand is you gotta know, girl. You gotta know. I've only watched Whitty a few times and I know that that's how this is when she's drunk. I know.
What did you want her to do? I'm sorry.
Well, I guess what I wanted her to do is say that to the chat. Like, I got it. But
We did. She did. We were.
She didn't. She
several
just said,
times. And Tech did. Yeah, people were, maybe not when you were in there, but like we were trying to get her off of it. And we were trying to get her to stop doxing him.
Okay. I guess you're right. I must have left during those times because I would come in there and she would dox and then I would leave for briefly. And that's what led me to believe that like nobody was trying to stop her when
No,
that was
no, we
happening.
were.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And it's okay. I appreciate, like, even if you don't know for certain, but you feel that that's how you interpreted the situation,
Yeah.
say it. Like, I'm not going to say you're right or wrong. I just can only give you, like, my perspective.
right.
But in that moment, like, again, like, so I didn't know that she had been seeing this guy until about 17 minutes in when she said,
Okay.
okay, she has met this guy before. He's not brand new. And,
Okay. Okay.
and also, she was drunk.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes
Oh yeah.
you don't know if what she's saying is the truth or not. Same with his name. I didn't even know if that was his real name or not. Sometimes she just says random names. And you've heard her, if you've watched her like you say you do, you've
Yeah.
heard her just say random first and last names sometimes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I didn't know if that was actually his name or not. And then if you see like later on in the live, it does take quite some time. And honestly, if I could go back, I would have probably done this better.
I
But
think we all would have. And look, Leslie, I'm not here to browbeat you or to anything like that. I'm really here because I know you care about Witty, and I just wanted to make sure you understood how concerning Witty's behaviors are right now. Not that I expect you to change them. I just didn't quite understand that if you're her friend, you didn't. But I know now. You said it yourself. She says these weird things. She does these weird things. And unfortunately, it's put me in a place where I don't even want to have any connection with Witty because it gave me a whole new meaning of who she was. That she would put you, the rest of her friends, the rest of the people on the internet that cared about her. Tech came in crying. I had to leave fast and in a hurry when that happened because, man, like nothing any of us, I guess, can do to help her. But as somebody who hangs around her, I guess, just having the idea of this is really how sick she is.
Yeah, we know.
It hurts.
Yeah.
it is. And I don't know if you heard when I said this, but I didn't sleep the entire night last
Me
night.
either. Me either. I
I
didn't hear you say that, but me either. And literally, I was driving my car today, and I was like, I never get online and join boxes. I was literally driving home today with tears in my eyes, like, God, I hope that guy's okay. Like, I just really hope that guy's okay. I hadn't been on any social media all day today, so just, and then when I did sign on, I saw you guys, so which is why I was asking my questions. I'm not trying to pick on you. I think you're a beautiful soul. I appreciate you. I appreciate you talking to me. I think that we should all pray for Witty.
I agree.
appreciate you coming up and honestly just asking the questions, whether it be from your own curiosity or I'm sure other people were wondering these same things that you came up here to ask. So kind of being that voice to ask those questions and for me to be able to give that answer, I appreciate it.
I appreciate you too. So I'm gonna. I don't know if I know how to drop down. Dana, can you get rid of me? Like I
Sure.
said,
Have a good night. Thank you.
thank you,
Thank you for
thank you.
coming up,
Y'all just
sweetie.
keep being good, okay?
Of course.
Bye bye.
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 Hang on.
I think that Malachi guy is on accident too. I do want to say, like, I did try to call Witty. I did. And I tried to message her multiple times. Um, she's the type, though, this isn't the first time where we'd be on live. Like, if you see me in her live on other nights, and if it's been a really bad night, she would even FaceTime me sometimes. And she would not even realize that she's on FaceTime with me. She's not on live. Like, she'd be talking to people that are not there when it's just me and her. And then when she would realize that she's not on live, she would hang up on me just to go back live.
Mm.
So, last night I did try to call, but it's like, you don't understand, like when you're calling and you know she's not going to probably answer, but you still call because you want to give it a chance. But
Right.
then she's not going to answer. And a bunch of people are concerned. They're like, her live is now getting paused because of the calls. And now you're worrying that if the only way you can know if she's good or not is through this live, you don't want to mess it up now because you're pinging her phone so much. It's just, I just wish that people would consider maybe the thought process that I was trying to think last night. And of course, like now knowing the outcome, like I would have probably done some things differently. And I did when I knew that that man was fine now and that there was no danger. I did say at the end, I was like, okay, you got to stop saying his name, Witty. Like when it kind of felt like, okay, this is actually his name, I was like, you gotta stop.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
If anybody else has any like questions, comments, concerns, you can come up here. I'm not gonna block anybody. Like anybody that thinks they're not welcome in here, you're fine. You're welcome in here. I'd rather you say it to me right now instead of go in another live and run with something else so that at least I can respond to it. I saw a lot of people in unknowns this morning that had very strong opinions about me, and I wish those people would come in here right now. I'm not talking about unknown herself necessarily, but the people in her comments. If any of you are friends with people on all different sides and you know that maybe some of your friends felt off about how I handled things last night, and if you share my live or me and Dana's live and they're like, oh, well, they're going to block me. No, we're not going to block them. And if they say how they feel, they're not going to get blocked. They're not going to get jumped. I want to clear it up. I don't want it to be all this misinformation in all these other people's lives. And then I don't even get the opportunity to really say my perspective. You got anything you want to say, Dana?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay.
You covered it.
Yeah, I just think like Dana was also catching some heat last night, and she took it like a boss, honestly. She was killing them with kindness. Like people were being kind of really rude to her when she was genuinely just trying to be kind, and she was just like, it is what it is. Like if you want to make me the bad guy, I guess I'm the bad guy, but she knows who she is.
And we can't control Whitty and what she does. That's the main thing. We can try to help her, but sometimes we feel like we're losing the battle.
Right. And it's like I don't even necessarily care what people think of me. I don't.
And you're way closer to her than I am. Like,
yeah. I started being closer with Whitty, I believe, in September, so about 2 months ago.
we tried, Mama Bear.
Hi, OG. Hey, Mama. I guess if anybody can take away something from this live, I don't want this narrative to be spun anymore that I didn't try to turn the narrative around. I know people are coming in at different times, and it's probably annoying for the people that have been here this entire time, but like I said, I found 5 different timestamps of me saying 5 different things in 5 different ways, and there might even have been more, but I only wrote down 5 of them, where I either said, if Whitty knows this guy, then it's probably fine. She said she's hung out with him before.
Mm-hmm.
I encouraged for that call to not be made in the beginning before things ended up getting worse. And I even told her, I was like, I want you to enjoy your night. Like if she ultimately was wanting to hang out with this man, I was like, go hang out with him. Get off live. If you want to call me, you can call me, but that's it. Hey, OG.
Hi. So
What a mess.
let me just kind of break this down for everybody that is not friends with Witty off the app. Okay. Lip Glossy and myself are put in very hard positions when shit like this happens. Let's keep it all the way 100 here. Because what people see is going on the live is very different from when you get Witty on the phone on the back end. I was sleeping yesterday when people started blowing my phone up because something was going on. I did pop into the live very quickly, long enough to hear a man's voice, hear her yell no, and the screen to go black. Okay. That is concerning. What if, and I really need people to think about this, what if just that one time, right? And fucking take color out of it. because I do know that some platforms were trying to make it about race. When I popped in there, I couldn't have told you if the man was white, black, purple, pink, or blue. I just heard a man's voice, and then everything went black. What if Lip Glossy said, "Oh, it's fine," and that one time it wasn't? What if Lip Glossy would have said, "Oh, it isn't okay," and it was? Now, let me give you a piece of the puzzle that a lot of you don't know, because I know Lip Glossy enough to know not to release her and I's conversation. Lip Glossy had been alive a lot longer than I had been. I was going off what people had called and were texting me in the short little bit I seen of the live. Once I got Witty on FaceTime and seeing exactly what was going on, and seeing her and the man interacting and talking, and her telling the man that he could stay there, because let's be honest, when I FaceTimed her, I said that I was almost to her house to pick her up because she was going to be driving me to surgery today. And that is when Witty went along with it, but then in the same breath told the man it was okay for him to stay there. So, being it's, Lip Glossy or myself talking to her on the back end, what are we supposed to do? Because we're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't.
I want to say thank you for kind of putting it out there the way you did, because I'm trying to get better with my words. I'm thinking about this live being on Trauma Talk, knowing that I probably just said a bunch of word salad for like the last half hour. But I think you really put that exactly how I wanted to say it. It's like, what was I supposed to do? If it was the one time where I am relaxed and I tell people like, hey, you guys always overreact. Witty always does this. She's fine. And then she wasn't. How would I not only feel to know that I put her in danger, but also to just portray myself as like I'm just careless and reckless like that? Like, I was feeling out the live in real time. I didn't know how to feel, just like how anybody else didn't know how to feel.
But why is this? What? And I'm not asking you. I'm asking everybody that put you in it, right? Why is this Lip Glossy's problem? Because she goes in there? Because she will go in a box? Because she talks to her? Like, why is it? Why was last night's situation Lip Glossy's problem?
You know what, Virgo? I respect you for coming up here and saying what you really feel instead of like going somewhere else to say it. To me, I don't think being in her presence is enabling. I think she has had people in her life that have enabled her. People might disagree with me. I don't think I enable her. I think that
Right.
it's whether you want to believe it or not. If you go back and you watch, you will see me tell her in real time that she needs to stop being mean to people that are kind to her, because she's closing doors and opportunities of just being cordial with people. And I don't encourage her to drink. I do quite the opposite. I'm not a drinker myself. I live my days sober. And I try to be that friend for her, where it's like I do arts and crafts and I do the fun things without feeling the need to have some sort of substance to be able to do the hobbies I enjoy. And you wouldn't know that unless you really paid attention. I feel like a lot of this and a lot of these assumptions about me is what people are hearing from others that don't like me.
Well, how is you being her friend in a box talking to her, or even I'll take the term friend out of it, right? Because none of us know if you're actually her friend or if you're an acquaintance. So how is that enabling?
Correct. And I think I am her friend, but would I say her best friend? No. Would I say that I know her like the back of my hand? No. I really have not even been close to Whitty for more than 2 months or 3 months. So, it's one of those things where people think that I might know her so well. Yes, I'm not dumb. I recognize certain patterns, but at the same time, I am still getting to know her, you know?
Well, and let's be honest. So, as somebody who talks to her off the app, there's only so much we can say. Like, I've told her, you drink too much. You need to seek help. All we get told is, or I get told is, I know, I know, I know. And then days go by and it's the same bullshit ass behavior. Okay. Nobody can make her. Sammy has offered free help to her. She's turned that down. So at that point, what do we do? You still become to the point where you talk to her just to make sure she's okay, but you don't put yourself in it too much, if that makes sense.
So I don't think you just simply being a friend is what's enabling. I think it's when she's in that state that everyone has to be like, I'm not going to participate in this because we've all watched her do this time and time again. And it's an obvious cry for attention. I was an addict. I've been in recovery for 10 years. I have done some bottom of the barrel, dirty, disgusting things. I was not a good person. So, and I've also been friends with people. So I've been on both sides of the fence. I think the only way to really not enable her is when she is in that state, you have to put up a boundary and be like, I can't enable this. I can't be here while this is happening. Because if people are there when it's happening, it's almost like coddling because you can't talk to her when there's no real conversation that she's retaining.
No, because she gets and I have to agree there, Virgo, because I had to set a boundary and say I can't be your friend because when she's not drinking, she's great. As soon as she starts drinking, she starts attacking me on the phone or in text. So I had to remove myself, and I wouldn't have even called her last night had people not said, "Hey, we're concerned at what's going on."
Yeah. Virgo, that's why I came up here, is because you said it exactly how I was thinking it. And that's where I was getting at, is with a newcomer to watching Whitty and watching those behaviors. And then as soon as I signed on last night and I was seeing those behaviors, I guess that's what I couldn't understand, is why her friends, and I know I picked on lip glossy, but it's not intended that way, lip glossy, I hope you know that. But that's what I came into, was these people who are her friends, like, oh, are you okay? Like questioning her, when my thought process is immediately we should all be backing away from her because this is pretty shit.
Right.
So thank you, Virgo. You said it perfectly.
Hey, Frenchie, is there any way you could mute?
I think it might be Virgo, honey, because it started when Virgo came up. Oh, it just muted, so we can't tell.
Okay, whoever it was, it's okay. I heard what was said.
Okay.
You know what, and I think that's fair of you to say, Virgo. And I appreciate you coming to me and saying that, because I'm not a perfect person. I don't pretend to be a perfect person. And like I said, if I could go back in time knowing what I know now, back to like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, knowing what I know now, being able to be in that live with the knowledge that I have now, I would have done it differently. But life just doesn't work that way, unfortunately. But with that said, and going forward, I do agree. I think last night was really unhealthy for me because it took a lot of adrenaline and energy in a multitude of ways. And, I have tried to get Whitty off these lives before. I've tried to FaceTime her. I've tried to text her. I've tried when things are getting really bad, I have tried to encourage her to get off these lives. I really, really have.
It's not easy. Literally last night, as I'm on FaceTime with her, making sure she's okay and getting the man to leave her apartment, her main focus was to hurry up and get back on TikTok. That's what her focus was.
Which tells me it's for attention. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I know that you made a statement like something about race. Unfortunately, the society that we live in today, we have to acknowledge that. We have to acknowledge that simply by calling the police to check on your friend did put that man in danger, regardless of if you like it or not. It's just the truth. And I can't be upset at other creators for pointing that out because it has to be talked about, and it's a completely separate issue from Witty in itself. And I can't put that on Lip Glossy. She didn't make the phone call.
Hey Virgo, can you explain to me, honey? Because I just heard on the back end that somebody was making about race. I didn't actually see it or hear it for myself. So
Yeah.
can you tell me what happened?
Just simply, we know that Black men in America, especially, are in danger around police. So, you have this man. It doesn't matter if you knew what color he was or not. The fact is that he was a Black man. So when someone picks up the phone and calls and they say, I just was watching my friend on live and she has a strange man in her home. They don't even have to say what color he is. When they describe him, they'll ask and then they'll tell. It simply just puts them in danger because we know the statistics. They're out there. And that's all that was pointed out was like, by Witty doing this and trying to get attention for herself, she put this man in real danger.
Gotcha. Yeah, because when I got her on FaceTime, she told me the gentleman's name and he introduced himself. I introduced myself. He was very concerned with driving because he had been drinking, and he said that he was a retired police officer. So I understood, his concern there with driving, obviously. But I wasn't like I said, I heard somebody text me and said that somebody's live was making about race. But I didn't hear the live myself to say it definitely was or not.
Well, and I was in Bree's live, and like she just said in the comments, people were coming over there, and then even Dora came to Bree's live and said people were going over there. So they're taking the drama from Witty and they're spreading it to everybody. Like, hey, come look at this shit. It just makes it worse. And they told us what color he was in the comments of Bree's live,
which is wild because it shouldn't even be about color. Like I said, I didn't. With the brief second I popped in her live when I got woke up and I heard his voice, didn't know what color he was at all. And then I just started FaceTiming her because what is me sitting in the live commenting or trying to get a box going to do? Not shit. So it was, let me try to get her on the phone. And my concern was the fact that I heard her scream no, and then the camera went black, and then she went on pause, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. That was very concerning. But then when I called, she answered. And I seen her, she was fine. I seen him, like I said, he was very nice, very polite. I think the best route to go, I agree, is when she's live and she's like this, don't go in the live.
I don't mind people bringing up the race perspective. I don't mind. And, I even thought in my own private time and mind where I was trying to slow this call from happening. And I even thought to myself, where if this call was made, what might happen to this man? And I'll admit that. And I don't like Shannon. I'll never be friends with Shannon again, but she came in the live and people were calling her in there because they believed that she had the address still for Witty. And I added her in the comments telling her, message me. And my intent with that was to try to be like, hey, think for a second before you're going to just call just because people are calling. Like, let me explain to you what is actually going on. And at the same time, I also tried to reach out to Whitty on the back end saying, people are wanting to call the cops. If you could try to let it be known that you're okay, that would be really good for not only you, but him and everybody. Wait, was Bree blocked?
Free block from where?
Yeah, Bree's blocked from here. We don't get along. Bree and
Wait,
I do
no.
not get along.
Wait, no, could Bree come back? Because,
No, she can't. I'm sorry.
okay.
Well, I'm just going to say that I'm going to suggest that anyone who's friends with Whitty, if you are insistent on being a good friend, you need to put those boundaries up and say, if you're going to drink, I can't be in communication with you during that time. And
I had to.
yeah,
I
it has
had
to be a
to.
hard line in the sand, and you can't even dip your toe on the other side. If she's live and she's drinking, you're not in there. And if you can't help it, then you watch from the window or on a troll. But you can't give her support while she's drinking. It's counteractive to the purpose.
I had to completely back away because a couple Saturdays ago when she got intoxicated, I started getting very nasty text messages. She's gone at Violet really nasty because what was Violet doing? Violet was messaging her on the back end saying, hey, I think you should end your live. Hey, I think you should get off live. Hey, Whitty, people are going to use this to post about you. And so instead of Whitty taking that and thinking that's a good friend, right? Whitty took that and used it as if Violet was harassing her. And then she started messaging me, being shitty to me. So I'm not going to lie. I tore into her and I told her, you're a shitty fucking human when you're drinking. I choose not to be a part of that. I choose to place boundaries. Do not text or call me when you are all jacked up. Because I don't think it's fair for anybody to have to go through that, whether it be Dana, Lip Glossy, anybody. Violet, you do not have to deal with somebody being nasty to you when they are intoxicated. And you are not wrong for setting that boundary. And I think Virgo has a perfect point with that. And that's not Virgo being a bitch. That's Virgo putting it out there for what it is.
You know, it's Dana's platform. I don't want to make her uncomfortable or anything. But at the same time, we did kind of invite everybody from all sides. And, you know, Bree was kind of a part of that live last night. And I don't mind her kind of hearing what's
Guys,
going
she is
on.
not nice to me. I'll unblock her. That's fine, but
I'm not here to tell anybody what to do on their own platform. That's why I'm just
Block anybody, right? But I don't want to make you uncomfortable, Dana, because, you know, Dana is letting me kind of say my piece on her platform. And if that's a boundary for you, I don't want to overstep or tell you what to do. But Raid, I didn't block Bree. See, this is kind of what I didn't want to happen, because now they're like assuming that.
Well, I think here's
I
the
blocked
thing:
Bree.
if it's Dana's platform, right, and Bree has not been so nice to Dana, then why would Dana
Right.
feel why would Dana feel like she has to let Bree on the platform? That doesn't make sense.
She has me blocked over on hers, so we don't get along. She doesn't like me, so I don't know why
Right,
it's a problem. She knows why she's got blocked. She knows.
and there's nothing wrong with protecting your peace, and that kind of goes with the witty thing too. And Luke Glassy, you and I had, this text conversation yesterday. You are absolutely entitled to protecting your own peace with this as well.
No, and I'm sorry, Dana. I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything like that.
Oh, no, it's okay. Don't even worry about it.
Bree, I think because like we were kind of talking about things in her life, that's just why I thought it was maybe fair for her to like listen in. And then if you wanted her to no longer be able to watch in the future, I completely understand that. I think because a lot of the misunderstandings happened in her live last night. That's why I kind of think it's kind of important for maybe her people to be able to hear this side, but
I also, lip glossy, got sent a clip where Brie was like, fuck this, we're not coddling Witty, and I don't blame her there. She's not being talked about on my platform anymore. It's not being brought to my platform anymore. So I respect that. But if it's on somebody else's platform, if you want to draw a boundary on yours, then why is it not okay for somebody to draw a boundary on theirs?
honestly, I'm with that. Like, that's okay. If you're putting that boundary, I'll respect it. If Bree would ever want to have a conversation with me in private or would be open to me having a conversation in her live, even though I'm kind of wanting to be done with this after this live, and if not, that's okay too. I just want people to be open-minded and realize that I'm not what people are trying to portray me as. I think there's a lot of hate on this app. I don't even hate on the people that hate on me because I don't know them.
Well,
And
I think a big thing too is you're not Witty's handler, girl. Like you're not her caretaker. You're not her handler. It's not up to you to, and I'm not saying this like at you. This is kind of like what I told you in text last night. Like, it is not your responsibility to care for her when she's under the influence. So you have the right to be like, no, like, I am not going to deal with this. I don't have to deal with this. Like, you have that right completely.
Right. And we're not holding this live to sit and gossip about Witty. We're holding this live so that Liv Glossy could explain her side. So no, she really doesn't want to go and keep talking about it all night. She just wanted to explain her side so everybody could understand where she was coming from.
And it bothers me that some of the clips I did see was people going at Lip Glossy as if she had done something wrong. Listen, she can only, not to throw age into it, but one factor is Lip Glossy is a lot younger than a lot of us on this app, okay? To put that responsibility on her is fucking wild.
Right, I agree.
More so, she's trying to be a friend, okay? Maybe she's never dealt with addiction or anything. So maybe she doesn't understand that. So to put that on her in any way, shape, or form is crazy. I think the best thing to let Lip Glossy know is that you have the right to draw a line in the sand and say, no, I don't want to be a part of this. And I think the way that Virgo put that was literally perfect.
Yeah, I think so too.
thank you for saying that. Thanks to everybody in here that is like just willing to sit and listen, even if you're not commenting. The fact that like you chose to listen and hear me out, even if you don't like me and you want to believe the worst of me, like I appreciate it because you didn't have to do that. You could have just remained ignorant, never want to hear my side, and just believe whatever you want to believe. And I appreciate Dana for letting me use her platform. I can't go live on my own. So I appreciate it.
Sure, of course, no problem.
It's kind of wild too because somebody reached out to me last night and I was like, hey, just let you know, she's good. You know, they were checking on her, asked if I had talked to her, and I said, yep, she's good. The man's leaving, and they were like, well, do you mind if I let another platform know? And I was like, nope, that's fine. And they got on the platform and they said, I have a message, you know, from somebody that directly talked to her. And Holly Mae was like, don't be a messenger for nobody. That person can get over here, come up in the box and tell it themselves. Not everybody cares to box up with y'all, Holly Mae. So one of your people was being decent enough to come and let y'all know what was going on, but y'all wouldn't let her talk. That's wild.
And I want to say this, Bree might not hear me, but hopefully some of her people do. Bree actually gave me a voice last night, and a lot of her friends did not want her to do that. And not to say that Bree likes me now or anything, I don't think that's the truth, but for her to give me a voice and let me just say my side. And like when people were trying to be like, no, I don't want to hear it, she was like, can you just let the girl talk and then we'll move on, essentially. And like I recognize that and I did appreciate that. And I do want Bree to know that. Did you want to come up here? Guess who? Did you have something to say?
I just don't think, Lip Glassy, it's your response. This shouldn't be thrown on you.
I'm definitely going to make different boundaries from here on out. Like, you're not going to see me moving the same that I have the last 2 months. I um, I don't want to leave Witty behind, but at the same time, if I see that she's not doing well, instead of trying to be on live and discuss it with her, if she's not going to want to come and call me and talk to me in private about whatever she's got going on, then unfortunately I have to just let her be live and do her thing, and I have to just stay out of it.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you can very much set a boundary that says, hey, when you're not drinking, I'm here. I'm your friend. It's cool. However, when you're drinking, I can't be there. That is completely okay, girl. You're not a shitty person from that. You have to set your own boundaries as well. And trust and believe, Violet and I have both had to set our own boundaries, because 1 minute she's nice to us, and as soon as she starts drinking, we get attacked. And I am not willing to go through that.
Yeah, no, and I'm not either anymore. And, you know, it wasn't even the idea of like what people are talking about me and thinking about me that upset me last night. It was the fact that, like, and I think about all the other people that have their own relationships, their own families. I think what upset me the most was that my man came home from work, and instead of being able to enjoy the night with him and hang out, I was dealing with a bunch of TikTok BS. And then ultimately it affected me to the point where I stayed up all night. And I just wonder about all these other people. They got families, they got kids, they have, you know, maybe it's time to sometimes realize that this is just, I keep getting a phone call. Maybe it's time to realize that it's like there's more to life than this app. And you are not what people are trying to portray you as. And think about it yourself, the people that you don't like on this app. There's things about that person that you don't like that you don't even know. You don't know the things they're going through, or maybe why they made the decisions they made, even if you don't agree with those decisions at the time. They could have a reasonable explanation for some of it, but you never get the chance to either talk to them about it or hear them when they explain themselves.
Mm-hmm. I feel bad too, because I called Megan today and I was like, girl, what happened to your birthday live last night? Because yesterday was her birthday. And she's like, well, I tried to go live and then everybody kept coming in about Witty, and I just got really stressed and we were trying to figure out if she was okay. I just ended. And that's sad, because it was her birthday. It was her birthday live. And not to sound like a dickbag, but yet again, somebody else's day got ruined because of Witty's bullshit.
Right.
And my heart hurts for Megan, because Megan is there for everybody else.
I just want to say thank you to everybody that came in here. I don't know if I have much more to touch on this subject at the moment, but I think if everybody, I don't know if Bree's live, but if you could maybe let her know that, and I'm not trying to obsess over Bree or anything like that or be weird, but I do appreciate her letting me come over and speak when she didn't have to, and I don't want her to think that I felt like I deserved to be in her platform and talk or whatever. So, you know, if anybody else has anything last to say, I'm probably gonna go for a bit.
I just say protect your peace, honey. And you don't always have to be the, because I know that you took a lot of shit before for somebody else that you defended, right? And you had somebody else's back. I won't bring up their name. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about.
I do. You can say it. It was Shannon.
Bedpan?
Sherman.
Is bedpan.
Yep. Whitty took a lot of shit, and probably a lot of you don't know, or not Whitty, excuse me. Lip Glossy took a lot of shit for Shannon.
She did.
And she, man, Lip Glossy literally stayed true to that friendship just to get shit on. And I felt awful. I knew it was coming, and I warned her. And she didn't want to listen to me. And I understood. She was loyal. I just don't want to see that happen to you again, Lip Glossy.
That's fair. Like, and I'm trying to not repeat that for myself. And, I'm not putting that Shannon situation, I'm not putting that blame on anybody else but myself. I chose to be her friend. But I think the reason I stayed as long as I did was more because I try to be a decent human being. I try to be a loyal person. I don't just try to be friends with people just to turn around and talk bad about them, even if I'm the only one that will ever know that I talked bad about them. I don't like to be that. And, I didn't even want to defend myself about Shannon or anything like that until I had to. So, and that's the same with anybody else that I'm friends with. I really don't like having to get to these points. So,
Yeah, nothing else matters. You hit the nail right on the head, but that's her problem. She did it to her once, she'll do it to her again.
yeah. Well, I'm probably going to leave for a bit. I don't know if Dana still wants to go live or what you guys.
Nope, I'm good. We can go ahead and shut it down. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the taps.
Yeah, thank you for the gifts. I think I
Thank
missed
you,
quite a few.
OG, for coming too. We really appreciate you.
Absolutely. I opened the app and I seen you guys, and like I said, I talked to Lip Glossy last night off the app, and I knew, I had a funny feeling it was going to be bothering her. For well, I had a feeling it was going to bother her throughout the night. So I'm glad, Dana, and thank you for giving her a platform to get it out, because that's a lot on her, and it's not hers. It's not her burden to bear.
Right. Like she said, she didn't sleep all night because of the adrenaline of it and just being upset. And I also want to make it clear that I am not friends with Witty off of this app. And these guys are the lonesome heroes. So I'm just a person that feels bad for her. But you guys are the ones that know her better than I. So I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, you're just somebody that tries your best. It's like sometimes these things don't always need to be so serious, even though they do get serious sometimes. Sometimes it's just like a matter of just having a conversation with somebody and sitting with somebody. And sometimes you just want it just to be that. You don't want people to perceive it a million different ways.
Right.
And I think that's just kind of what you do sometimes. You go in there, and sometimes she's sober and she's pleasant, and other times things go a little wrong, and we'll all figure it out. But from here on out, I'm gonna put different boundaries, and you guys are gonna see me move differently. I'm not going to let myself get in the middle of things that I don't need to anymore. Thank you also. I just want to say this last thing before we go. Thank you for everybody that decided to stop in. I know I already said that, but I'm really grateful that we got as many people in here to listen as we did. And I can feel like, at least I let this out. I put this out in the universe. If people want to receive it, they can. If they still want to hate me, I did what I could.
There's no reason to hate you. That will be a them problem at that point, right? You're a good girl. You're a good lady.
You too, Dana.
Okay, everybody, have a great night. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.